and he is going through difficulties, please remember him in your dua, sincere dua. نسأل الله العظيم رب العرش العظيم أن يشفيه شفاء لا يغادر سقما يا رب العالمين. Please remember him in your dua. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعه إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد. We are still reflecting in the ayat in Surah Al-Baqarah and how Surah Al-Baqarah is a surah that is a special surah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made special. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told us that shaitan does not stay around when Surah Al-Baqarah is recited. The house that Surah Al-Baqarah is mentioned in and recited in shaitan does not enter it. And it is one surah that with Al-Imran will come at the day of judgment for those who memorized it or those who reflected on it, those who kept it in their heart and reflected on it as ghamamatan, as two clouds in the day of judgment of protection on those who carried it. So the Surah Al-Baqarah is telling us about our way of life and the guidelines that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us. And what ayat did we reach? 214. Okay. ماذا ينفق؟ نعم. بسم الله. تفضل.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يسألونك ماذا ينفقون قل ما أنفقتم من خير فللوالدين والأقربين واليتامى والمساكين وابن السبيل وما تفعلوا من شيء فإن الله به عليم. كتب عليكم القتال وهو كره لكم وعسى أن تكرهوا شيئا وهو خير لكم وعسى أن تحبوا شيئا وهو شر لكم والله يعلم وأنتم لا تعلمون. يسألونك عن الشهر الحرام قتال فيه قل قتال فيه كبير وصد عن سبيل الله وكفر به والمسجد الحرام وإخراج أهله منه أكبر عند الله والفتنة أكبر من القتل ولا يزالون يقاتلونكم حتى يردوكم عن دينكم إن استطاعوا ومن يرتد منكم عن دينه فيمت وهو كافر فأولئك حبطت أعمالهم في الدنيا والآخرة وأولئك أصحاب النار هم فيها خالدون.
جزاكم الله خيرا.
They ask you in what way they should donate. Say whatever donations you give are for parents, relatives, orphans, the poor, the needy, traveler. Whatever good you do is certainly well known to Allah. fighting has been made obligatory upon you, though you dislike it. Perhaps you dislike something which is good for you and like something which is bad for you. Allah knows and you do not know. They ask you about fighting in the sacred months. Say, fighting during these months is a great sin, but hindering from the path of Allah, rejecting Him, and expelling the worshippers from the sacred mosque is greater sin in the sight of Allah. For persecution is far worse than killing, and they will not stop fighting you until they turn you away from your faith, if they can. And whoever among you renounces their own faith and dies a disbeliever, their deeds will become buried in this life and the hereafter. It is they who will be the residents of the fire. They will be there forever.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه أما بعد. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is guiding the companions, and the companions are eager to be guided. So they ask. They ask not in a way to question, but they ask in a way of more guidance, so they can adjust themselves according to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving them. So they asked an obvious answer, obvious question. يَسْأَلُونَكَ مَاذَا يُنْفِقُونَ. Okay, they ask you what to spend. And then later on, يَسْأَلُونَكَ عن الشهر الحرام قتال فيه قتال فيه, that it is asked about the sacred month. Is it okay to fight in it? So they ask, and they ask. So now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answers them. يَسْأَلُونَكَ مَاذَا يُنْفِقُونَ. They ask you what to spend. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells them who to spend on, not what to spend. Okay? And if you go across the page, the other page, you'll find the same question. يَسْأَلُونَكَ مَاذَا يُنْفِقُونَ. Still. In other words, they got information, but they want more clarification. Now they know that who to spend on. Now they want to know what to spend. Meaning you have wealth and what to spend from it. قُلِ الْعَفْوِ. Later on Allah says al-'afw, that which is extra, you spend from it. Okay, so you feel like there is an urge from the companions to adjust their life according to the Quran and Sunnah, right? And they are eager not to do something unless they know if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a say in it, a particular way in it or not. Okay? As one scholar put it, that if I find somewhere in the Quran and Sunnah in a way to scratch myself a particular way, I will look for it and do it. What does that mean? It means scratching it's something normal, right? Meaning you just feel like it's itching and you go like this, right? So he's saying, I want to know if there is a particular way to do this, then I will do it. Okay, that's the eagerness. One companion did a certain fruit. Okay, he was asked to invited to eat it, and he hesitated. So they asked, well, why are you hesitating? Did Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam say something haram or halal in it that we do not know? He said, no, but I've never seen Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam eat it. So I was wondering if Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would eat this, how would he eat it? You understand? That eagerness. It is not making difficulty upon yourself, but it is the love of Allah and the love of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prevented the companion from asking. But asking what? Asking, details over details over details of things. No, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you with a measure, take it and do not dwell on it too much. Okay, do not ask. Do not be, another word, what we heard in Surah Al-Baqarah so far, the Israelites and how they asked Musa alayhi salam. They asked questioning what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying. Not asked to find out guidance. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is warning the companion of being like those who followed Musa alayhi salam. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ما أنفقتم من خير فللوالدين والأقربين واليتامى والمساكين وابن السبيل. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them the category. Okay. ما أنفقتم من خير فللوالدين, to the parents. Okay. والأقربين, and those who are near. واليتامى, and those who are orphan. والمساكين, and those who are in poverty. وابن السبيل, who is the one who is wayfarer. Those who pass him by. Okay? So how did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put these? Put them in a way of closeness. You want to take care of someone, take care of your parents first. And then the nearest in kin. That is the closest after the parents will be the nearest in kin. And then what? The most needy in the society, which are the orphans. Because they do not have anyone close to them. So you become close to those who do not have anyone close to them. Then al-masakin, those who are a little bit further away, who are needy in the society. Maybe have, but they do not have enough. We need to investigate. Okay? And then the one who is passing by. He could be rich where he is going to go, but in between he is poor because he is a traveler. He does not have the means to cover himself with the need that he has, and runs out of something. Another word, the one that passes by, you take care of. Here is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala giving the concept of the needy. You have wealth to spend in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Look at these categories. These categories has to be covered. Okay? Whatever their need is, and we can cover it, you can cover it for them. Okay? And whatever you do of good, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows it. In other words, the spending is not necessarily just from your wealth, but anything that is good. Okay? Anything that's good. What you consider that is good. That's beneficial. Go ahead and do it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows it. Okay? In other words, you're going to be making judgment here. Should I spend on this or should I spend on that? I think this is better than this and so forth. Go ahead. Go ahead, make decisions and go on and spend. Okay? And spending from what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us, eventually Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will talk about it in details. Okay? In details and in a way of encouragement to spend. And you find the Ayatul Kursi right in this, within this ayat of spending that would come up later on. Okay? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will start by talking about spending in the way of Allah, then give us Ayatul Kursi, then tell us what Al-Urwatul Wuthqa, that the robe of Allah that we should hold on to it, then tell us the story of Ibrahim alayhi salam, okay, and the story of the one who went by a town that was dead, and Allah caused him to die when he wondered how Allah will bring this to life and so forth. We know this story, and then the story of Ibrahim alayhi salam, and then spending again. For a long time, many ayat, Allah talks about spending. So they asked about spending. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala they asked what to spend. Allah told them about who to spend on. Okay. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings kutiba alaykum. Okay. It is written upon you. It was written upon you. And when you hear that word, that means there is no way out. It is written upon you. This is what you have to do. Okay. What did we hear before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses this word kutiba alaykum? We heard kutiba alaykum al-qisasu fil qatla. It is written upon you in qisas, in life for a life. Right? This is a way to do this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us details, but this is the way. Kutiba alaykum. It is upon you that you make qasas, a life for a life. You do not say, no, we're going to change this, and now we take, that rule away. No, that rule stays. Kutiba alaykum. Kutiba alaykum as-siyam. Now it is a pillar of iman, a pillar of Islam that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about and says, kutiba alaykum. It is written upon you. So here also kutiba alaykum. What is written upon us? Al-qital. Meaning, talking again about warfare. Okay? وَهُوَ كُرْهٌ لَكُمْ. And you hate it. Because you don't like to go fighting in the way of Allah. But this is a way that is written upon you. And within the way, the frame that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us. Okay? That is, that the waging war does not happen unless unless you are as an individual, you cannot wage war. You cannot just get a group and say, we're going to wage war against this and this. This is not for an individual to do, but for the ruling party, the ruling imam or the ruling khalifa or the ruler, okay, and his government, if you will, is the one who declare this, not individuals. But can you protect yourself? Yes, you do not wait for Allah to come and protect you if you are being attacked. That's something else. وَهُوَ كُرْهٌ لَكُمْ. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is disliked for you, or you dislike it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala now puts a principle of saying that you do not just believe in this, in what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands you to do. It is good for you, even though you don't quite have the wanting to do that. فَعَسَى أَن تَكْرَهُ شَيْءٍ وَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ. Perhaps you hate something, you're hated, but it is good for you. And also the other way, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prohibits you from doing something, you might love to do something and it is bad for you. And Allah knows and you do not know. And this is again the guidance that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives mankind. Mankind that they cannot figure out the guidance themselves. They cannot say or figure out what's really good for them. Right? Meaning you have a choice, therefore you could make mistakes. You can make the wrong choice. Right? Because the brain and the intellect that Allah has given us varies between one person to another. One person in certain subjects have more knowledge than another people because he studied in this and that, right? But then he meets somebody who knows more in this subject than he does, right? Then he's got to submit to the next one and so forth. So in a matter for you to make judgment in, who are you now? Where are you in the understanding of this matter? And who is more in understanding than you in this matter? Right? But you have to make a decision, right? So in matters that you cannot afford to have a trial and error in it because it can cause a lot of harm, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala already made the decision in it and gave it to you. Says in this matter, this is how you do it. Okay? Now you cannot get any guidance more than that or better guidance than that. Why? Because you're getting from the one who is the creator of this universe, who has the knowledge of everything, who has the wisdom, the total wisdom, the epitome of wisdom, and has the total and the epitome of mercy. So you should, once you hear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying something, you should run to it because you know that is good for you. Because Allah said, Allahu ya'lam wa antum la ta'lamun. Okay. Now, go back to يسألونك عن الشهر الحرام. They ask you about the sacred month. قتال فيه. Okay. That should we fight in it? قل قتال فيه كبير. Say fight in the sacred months is a great sin. You should not do that. Okay? Meaning, and what is these sacred months? Who came up with these sacred months? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But it was stayed from the remnants of the guidance that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave Ibrahim alayhi salam. Okay, meaning gave those messengers before. So the Arabs still had it at the time of the ba'tha of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is showing us that not necessarily everything there that has to be wiped off. There are certain things you can carry from the goodness of that which came before, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent it to the messengers before. From it are the 4 months that are you should not fight in it. And the fighting the 4 months, the Arabs used to take it seriously. Okay, when the month that sacred months arrived, doesn't matter how bad the fight was and how strong it was, it stops. But what did they do? They got a group of people. They said, you are the one who is responsible for the calendar. Okay? And those group of people, they have the right to switch months. Okay? So Ramadan is coming, they say, no, it is Rajab. How could you do this? Well, this is what we're going to do. Okay? And they used to play with this so they could, bring the month that is haram closer so that the fight will stop. Okay? If they are bribed or they are from the group that are fighting and so forth, and they want the fight to stop, then they bring the month of sacred months forward. That's why Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam on the mountain of Arafat at the Hajj, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, now time comes back and matches the time when Allah created the heavens and the earth. In other words, the way they were playing around with the months like that, and now it is matching, happened to match. So now we have the calendar that is accurate calendar. Okay. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described this action that they did was changing the months. إنما النسيء زيادة في الكفر. This nasi that they used to do, which is switching the months and so forth, is increase in kufr. See how that is, okay? How that the time that Allah created, it's a time that we should take seriously. Okay? Those before us, the Israelites, what did they do? They switched months back and forth and so forth, and they still do until today. Okay? They should be going by the lunar calendar. Okay? That should be their calendar. Okay? So now you find certain holidays that they have, they match the holidays of the Christians. Okay? So when they are asked now, how come you're using the lunar calendar, but then your holidays stays close within a certain weeks always? Okay? They say, our scholars a long time ago put a calendar and adjusted it for the future to come. And this is what we're using. Okay? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying this is ziyadatun fil kufr. But now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that yes, you do not fight in the sacred month. Fighting is something that is great. But there is something that is greater. Okay? What is greater? Greater that these kuffar are torturing you, are oppressing you, are pushing you out of the Masjid al-Haram. Okay? And doing all this atrocity. And that is that's greater than fighting in the sacred month. Another word, this is an allowance or a permission to fight in the sacred months. Fight in it to prevent a bigger harm. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is teaching us here that when you're making a decision, the faqih is not the one who knows what's halal and haram, but the faqih is the one who can handle the issue when two harams are coming, and which one, or two harms are coming, and which one to prevent before the other one. And something you have to do, but you cannot help but to do something that is not acceptable Islamically in this. Okay, but you have to do it. Why? Because there is to prevent a bigger harm that is coming, right? When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, from those who are among you see a munkar, push it away. Okay, just stop it, the munkar. Okay, with your hand. What if you stop the munkar with your hand, the harm with your hand, and you're going to create a bigger harm? Then what did you do? You did something that is, you brought a bigger harm by preventing harm, right? So sometimes actually when a munkar is happening, you don't do something about it. The best way to handle this is not to do anything about it. That is what? Pushing it away with your heart, right? But you have to push it away. But behind this or beyond that, there is no an Adam weight of Iman. You have to hate it. And you wish that you're able to push it with your hand, but you cannot because a greater harm will happen. You wish that you stop it with your tongue, but you cannot. Why? Because a greater harm will happen. So now what do? You push it away with your heart and you hate it with your heart, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is teaching us here. Yes, it is haram to do this, but also there is a harm from what's happening to you. Okay, so go ahead, even if it comes to fighting within the sacred months, to prevent the greater harm, go ahead and fight in the sacred months. Okay? Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving us a fact. Okay? They will still fight you and keep fighting you until they take you away from your deen. Okay? In istata', if they could. Okay? And be aware now that the one who leaves his deen after Allah guided him, فَأُولَٰئِكَ حَبِطَتْ أَعْمَالُهُم, that is, their deeds habitat. Okay? Meaning that it doesn't matter what it looks like, how beautiful it is. There is a disease that comes to the camels, to the animals, that they will not stop eating and drinking. Okay, they will, especially drinking. They will keep drinking until the animal dies. It's a disease. Okay? So that disease, when you look at the animal during that time, the animal looks healthy. Okay? The animals looks healthy. Okay, it's well fed and they're drinking and they're very, fat and yeah, that is an animal that's really looking good. But the disease is there and you don't know it. And then what happens? The animal just drops dead. Looks beautiful, looks healthy, and then it drops dead. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describing here. Habitat a'maluhum. Okay? That is their deed. It will look good. Okay? because you're doing good deeds, but it's not acceptable because it's only looking good. Because you are doing good deeds, but you are building it upon not Iman, upon something else. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is warning us here that you could go for being accepted in the society, in the tribe, in the sitting, in whatever it is. And you can compromise in this to come out of, to do something, to say something, get you out of your deen. Okay? And know that you're going to be complimented, you're going to look good, you're going to really look good. People will take you as a hero and so forth. Those who are trying to get you out of your deen, okay? They will compliment you. And then what happened when you meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you meet with these beautiful deeds that you have done, but it's going to be gone. And you're going to be, those who do this will be in hellfire. Their abode will be hellfire. Okay? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala warned Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Okay, they were about يفتنونك عن الذي أوحينا إليك لتفتري علينا غيره. They got you, they tried to get you, okay, to change some of what we revealed upon you, okay, and what happened? There are rewards that they will give in you. They will give you. إذا لاتخذوك خليلا. They will take you as a friend. So that is the reward, right? You want to marry the most beautiful, will give you women to marry. You want to be the richest person around us, will give you wealth. You want to be the leader, we'll put you up on a pedestal. You'll be our leader, right? Another word, what is better than that? Is things are looking good. Is that an AI? Okay. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, وَلَوْلَا إِذْ ثَبَّتْنَاكَ لَقَدْ كِدْتَ تَرْكًا إِلَيْهِمْ شَيْئًا قَلِيلًا. If it wasn't for us, put you firm, you would about nearly close, maybe, to get a little bit close to them. And if that little was there, we would have taken you, punished you, double the punishment in life and double the punishment in the hereafter. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talking to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the most beloved to him from the old creation. Okay? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is warning us here that they will continuously, okay? لا يزالون, okay? Continuous try to get you, to fight you in one way or another, to get you let go with your deen. Okay? And then at the end, your deed is going to go away. Your deed is going to not to be accepted in the day of judgment. And once you build something upon a ground that is shaky, upon a ground that is false and faulty, okay, the building might look good, but then the bottom is gone and will cause the building to collapse. We are going, if you go to the media now and so forth, you see this fitan that is going through, is this this way or is that way? It is good or it is bad? Should we applause to this? Should promote this or not promote that, and so forth? That is a whole different subject to talk about and analyze. But what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us here is that which you are carrying, it is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that's all that you need. When Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was given an advice, okay, to the companions at Irbad ibn Sariya radiallahu anhu, said Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave us the advice that the heart was was humble and has khushu', and tears came to the eyes. And then we thought that Rasulullah ﷺ is saying goodbye to us. Seems like it. So we took advantage from this and say, Ya Rasulullah, advise us. Rasulullah ﷺ just finished advising. He said, advise us again. Then what was the advice that Rasulullah ﷺ gave? Advice that he is leaving, right? Before he is leaving, he's telling you something that must be very valuable. What? Basically, we're not going to go details in the hadith, that there is, hold on to the Quran and Sunnah. And if you hold on to it, you never go astray. And the Khulafa al-Rashidina min ba'di. You follow the rightly guided Khulafa after me. Okay? And Rasulullah ﷺ describes how to do that. Bite on it with your molar. Imagine that. You're holding to something and biting on it. Okay? Meaning you will not allow anybody to take it away from you, and you are protecting it. Okay? This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us here. Okay? This is, you ask and you ask and you ask, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you what you ask, made things clear for you. But once things are clear for you, you do not go, but I feel like this and I feel like that. I love this and I hate that. No. Okay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving you. Okay? Giving you the guidance, and you should hold on to it. Okay? And you know that the calamities will be around, and those who will try to get you away from this guidance. And you know that you'll be tempted to look good and feel good, and you let go what you have. Know that is a sickness that brings that which looks good at the day of judgment into hellfire. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Please, if you'd like to make any comments, inshallah.
You mentioned about playing Surah Baqarah in the house. How do we do that?
Any way you can.
Turn it on my phone or
Sure. Of course, it's recommended that you recite it in the house, right? But you don't spend much time, you work and this and that. You can play the recording of it at home while you're not there.
While I'm not there, yeah. Because I heard that if you're playing Quran, then you have to listen to Quran.
Yeah, but you're not there,
Yeah.
so it is still played, yes. Yeah. Meaning dealing with the Quran in a respectable way. You do not, be distracted or doing something that is not proper or so forth. But once you leave the house, you can still play it. And play it to the point that it will be play over and over again. Program it that way. So when it's done, it starts over and over again. Yes? Yeah. Wa alaikum assalam.